Our story with Hercules begins with a rather interesting birth, for his was no normal procedure. Zeus took the form of Amphitryon before he had returned and mated with his wife Alcmena. The next night Amphitryon returned and learned that Zeus had mated with his wife the night previous. When Alcmena bore children, she had twins, Iphicles from Amphitryon and Hercules from Zeus. 8 months into the life of Hercules, Hera had sent large snakes to their bed in order to kill the babe she hated so greatly. Heracles was no normal being, however, as he grabbed both snakes in his hands and strangled them both. Heracles' days of youth also contained danger, risk, and battle. When Erginus and the Minions marched against Thebes, Hercules assumed control with the aid of Athena and killed Erginus. Creon granted Hercules' eldest daughter Megara, whom he had 3 children with, and Hercules was also granted a sword from Hermes, bow and arrow from Apollo, a golden breastplate from Hephaestus, and a robe from Athena. After the battle, however, many years later, Hera drove Heracles mad. In his rage, he threw his children into a blazing pyre, and when sanity had returned, he forced himself into exile, traveling to Delphi in order to be granted the knowledge of where he should go to atone for his sin. The oracle told him to serve under Eurystheus, king of Tiryns, for 12 years and perform 10 labors. The priestess also spoke of his new name, Heracles, in order to honor Hera, and was told if he was successful, he would be granted immortality. His first task given to him by the king was to kill and bring the skin of the Nemean lion, the offspring of Typhon. He shot an arrow once he found it, but to no effect. Assuming the beast to be invulnerable, he took out his club and chased after it. After it had retreated to a cave, he came from behind and threw his arms around its neck to strangle it. This time, success. He carried the dead lion back, but Eurystheus was too frightened and told him his later trials' proofs would be determined at the gate. His next trial took him to the swamp of Lerna, where he would have to slay the Lernaean Hydra. When he encountered the beast, he drove it from its abode by tossing flame sticks, grabbing it as it came out. He attempted to smash its heads, but one lost head would become 2. He called for Iolaus, who brought him to the location, who burnt the roots of the mortal heads, preventing them from regrowing. Hercules decapitated the immortal head and buried it, covering it with a giant rock to stop it from becoming an issue any longer. When he returned, Eurystheus denied its authenticity as a labor, as he had hoped. Another of his trials was to bring back the Erymathian boar alive, rather than killing the beast like he had done so previously. He chased the boar with shouts and drove it to exhaustion in the snow, trapped it, and brought it back to Mycenae. There were many more minor trials involved with Hercules, such as retrieving the hind of Carenia, do away with the fearsome Stymphalian birds, clean the stables of Augeas, which was later on accepted as a trial as he accepted pay, capturing the Cretan bull, dealing with Diomedes and his man-eating horses, retrieving the girdle of the Queen of the Amazons, and killed Geryon, the 3-fused man-monster. As the Lernaean Hydra and Augeas stable trials did not count, Eurystheus sent Heracles to return with the golden apples of Hesperides and for his final trial, bring Cerberus from Hades, the 3-headed demonic guard dog of the underworld. After he had been absolved for his sins due to the task he had done, Hercules returned to Thebes, participating in an archery contest, winning the daughter of Eurytus, Iole, but he was denied because of what he had done previously to his sons. Shortly after, some cattle had been stolen, and Eurytus believed it to be done by Heracles, but Iphitus believed in him. When he went to Hercules, Hercules again went mad with rage and threw him from the castle walls. Wishing to purify himself of this most strange disease, Heracles sought the help of the oracle of Delphi. At first he was denied, which resulted in him fighting with Apollo until Zeus intervened. Afterwards he had been given a prophecy by the oracle that he should be sold for 3 years in return for the cure. He then sold to Omphale, daughter of Lardanes, the queen of Lydia, where he has a multitude of adventures and makes an even greater name for himself in the numerous tales such as capturing Cercopes at Ephesus and burying the late body of Icarus. After serving his 3 years, ridding himself of Hera's disease, he adventures further with a group of volunteer soldiers and enters many wars, such as the battle at Ilium, where Troy would stand to fall many years later, and laying waste to Kos and killing their king. After the battle in Ochalia against Eurytus, he took Iole back with him. Once Deianira, Hercules' wife at the time, is told that Heracles is bringing a maiden home, she shamefully uses the potion given to her by Nessus, a centaur, in his dying breath. He was killed by Heracles as he had fondled his wife after taking her across the river. The potion, made from the blood of Nessus, also contained poisonous blood of the Hydra mixed in. She put the potion on a cloak. She then gives the cloak to a messenger who gives it to Heracles, hoping their love would reignite. When he receives the cloak and puts it on, however, the toxic blood burns his flesh, and he kills the messenger in a fit of rage. On his way home, he is furious with his wife due to the fact that he believed that it was an attempted murder. When their son Hylas reports what the potion had done to her husband, Deianira, out of greed, killed herself. Hylas returns to Heracles and explains that it wasn't her fault, which he accepted due to a previous prophecy. He was foretold that no living being could kill him, as Nessus was already dead in the underworld. As his dying breath would soon come to him, Heracles requests Hylas to burn him alive by way of funeral pyre, and as a final request marry Iole instead, before eventually succumbing to his mortality. His immortal soul stands alone and ascends to Olympus, where the prophecy is fulfilled, and he becomes an immortal as a god.
Please clap.